Today we have the all-new 2025 MINI Countryman Gran Coupe works. In this video, I'll talk about what the new Countryman is, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it. You can say whatever you want about MINI Countryman, but not that it's unoriginal, and that applies to all three generations of MINI subcompact crossover. Yes, 2024 marked the third generation of the Countryman, and the changes are clearly visible. The car has been completely redesigned inside and out, following MINI's current more minimalistic design language, and received new technology. Now, the mechanical changes are a little less drastic. The Countryman is still based on the UK L2 front-wheel drive platform, shared with cars like the BMW X1, X2 or the 2 Series Gran Coupe. It features a strut front suspension and a multilink setup in the back. The JCW gets adaptive dampers as standard and 4-piston brakes up front with upgraded pads. Now, in the US, we only get one engine option in the Countryman, a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, pushing out 241 horsepower in the S variant, or 312 horses in the JCW that we have today. Both come with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with a mechanical LSD, and for this generation, all-wheel drive is standard across the board. There's also a fully electric 308 horsepower SE model, which can do up to 212 miles, but that's a subject for another review. Pricing starts at around $40,000 for the S, $46,000 for the SE, and tops at a little over $50,000 for the Gran Coupe works. Now, before we talk what it's like to drive the new MINI Countryman, let's take a look inside and talk about the interior space. Inside the new Countryman. Now, the interior cannot be mistaken with any other car. You know it's a MINI, and it feels very refreshing to be in a cabin that doesn't feel generic. You can tell that the designers put a lot of attention to detail to make this interior feel very special, and kudos to them for that. The quality isn't necessarily top-notch, but you do get some premium flares here and there. The materials used inside are acceptable in the segment, and everything is well put together. Now, just like the new 2- and 4-door Coupers, the Countryman received a new infotainment system featuring an OLED display, and my first impressions are pretty positive. While the interface requires some time to getting used to, the system seems to be stable. It supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but unfortunately, just like in the case of new entry-level BMWs, we lost the iDrive controller. Another thing that's gone in the new Countryman is the gauge cluster, which can actually be seen as back to their roots since old Minis had their gauges only in the middle. Anyways, in higher trims we do get a head-up display that kind of replaces the gauge cluster, showing your speed, turn-by-turn directions from the navigation system, or simple notifications. The storage across the cabin is pretty good for a subcompact SUV. The door pockets are okay, the center console is practical, and thanks to the boxy shape, the trunk is pretty roomy with its 25 cubic feet of space behind the second row. Same with the backseat. The Countryman offers a decent amount of space in the back, and your passengers get climate vents and 2 USB Type-C ports to charge their devices. Now, up front, the seating position typically for a MINI is great. You can sit relatively low to the ground, and the JCW gets those cool, more aggressively bolstered seats that provide great support and decent comfort for what they are. So, that was the interior of the new Countryman. Let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Okay, driving the new Countryman. Now, Minis have always been associated with a go-kart-like driving characteristics, so is that the case with the new Countryman? Well, kind of. I mean, MINI knows that people who buy it want to get a stylish, comfortable daily in the first place, and that's what this thing is. The ride quality, considering what the chassis is capable of, is great. The suspension filters out road imperfections in a pleasant way. The engine makes a ton of torque, especially in that 2000 to 4000 RPM range, which is what you need during everyday driving. On top of that, the driver assist systems are here to help you and not piss you off, and the cabin is well isolated from the road and wind noise, making this overall a pretty good all-around vehicle. Now, at the end of the day, the Countryman is a MINI, especially in the JCW variant, so I had to take it on my favorite back road, so let's see how it does. Well, first of all, the body control is very good. There isn't much oversteer given we are working with a front-wheel drive platform here. The steering feels very neutral and actually provides some feedback, and tossing Countryman into corners is actually fun. There is some torque steer that you have to take under consideration when accelerating flat on, despite having all-wheel drive on board, but overall, I'm happy with the chassis dynamics. Now, one thing that MINI knows how to tune right besides their chassis are their engines. The B48, nope, not B58, 2-liter 4-cylinder that powers the Gran Coupe Works variant is a class of its own and one of the best performance-oriented turbo 4s. The torque and power delivery are very linear, resulting in smooth engine operation all the way to the red line. Now, the exhaust is very quiet for a JCW, and all the pops, bangs, and farts that you're hearing are generated through speakers, not the actual exhaust, and that is a disappointment because there are ways to make Ford poppers sound good, and Mini proved it in the past. Another letdown, just like in the BMW X1 that I tested a few months ago, is the 7-speed dual clutch. I mean, it simply isn't all that great. There is a noticeable torque dip in between the shifts, and the clutch slips when under fast acceleration off the line. It's not something that you will necessarily notice during everyday driving, and using launch control basically solves that problem, but the use of a conventional torque converter unit would eliminate all of those issues. Honestly, I don't understand why BMW replaced the torque-converted 8-speed ASIN from the predecessor, maybe due to packaging, but the transmission and its behavior is honestly the only downside of a good overall Countryman. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about the new MINI Countryman Gran Coupe Works, so with everything we covered, let's jump to the final thoughts. Summing up the new MINI Countryman. Yet again, it proves that subcompact SUVs don't have to be boring. It's fun, stylish, and for the first time, it truly feels like a premium product, so if you're looking for something that will distinguish you from the crowd and don't want to get a Ford Bronco Sport, well, look no further. Now, while the suspension is on a firmer side in the JCW, it's not punishing, and driving this thing on a daily basis is pleasant. The only thing that has to be fixed is that dual clutch transmission. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about the new Countryman, drop a comment and I'll answer them. Thanks so much for watching, I'll catch you all later.